If you're new to the series, I'm researching urban green spaces. Now, I've just left Milan and I'm now headed to the fourth most visited European city with a population of 1.6 million within the city limits. Next up on my Church of Fellowship research tour is Barcelona. Now, you're probably wondering why Barcelona. This city has everything from golden beaches to beautiful architecture to a vibrant nightlife. Located in the beautiful Catalonia region. However, over the course of the past few years, the local residents have really begun to take issue with tourism, and over the next few videos I'm going to be exploring why that is, as well as the positives and negatives of ecotourism. We're going to be starting off the journey right here in Plaza España. Well, by 2050, the temperatures in the UK are set to be as warm as what Barcelona is currently now. So for me, it makes more sense to try and learn from the mistakes here in Barcelona and start to implement some changes into planting, into the way that we think about urban green spaces in the UK. Currently, Barcelona is going through a drought and they have got some extreme challenges when it comes to the weather. In fact, this behind me is supposed to be a glorious fountain, but as you can see, they've had to empty it due to a hosepipe ban. And it's exactly the same with this fountain just here. Now, to get to our first destination on this trip, I get myself up the stairs, up towards the museum. That is a lot of stairs. Oof, luckily there are actually escalators, so you can walk up the slopes, and then I think round about over there, yeah, you got escalators, so you don't have to climb up all of these stairs if you don't want to. And yeah, just imagine how grand this would be. But yeah, no water. But we're getting closer. Pre-drought, this is what this water feature would look like. How stunning is that? Okay, don't judge me. Do not judge me. Look at that view. The National Art Museum of Catalonia is located right at the foot of Montjuic. The breathtaking view really allows you to see Barcelona for all its glory, and it's no wonder that in 2023 the city saw an estimated 12.4 million tourists. The botanical gardens here at the Museum of Art are actually closed. It looks like they're doing a bit of reshaping, remodeling. In fact, if we take a closer look, you can see that actually there's been some structural damage to the slopes. So this whole area has been closed off. However, that doesn't mean that there is no green space whatsoever. There are lots of different gardens up here next to the museum, and this one in particular is really, really fascinating. This one is dedicated to Raymond Margalef. Now, we are going to be introduced to him a little bit later on in this video, but this garden is where species from across the world were brought to see whether or not they could adapt to the climate here in Barcelona, which is why you see such a varied, different range of species here. And for the most part, a lot of things are doing really, really well. There's also this amazing little pond in there, and it just is filled with so much biodiversity, even though we're up essentially on, I guess, a little mountain. I really wanted to rescue her, but like I said, this pond was teeming with life, and unfortunately she would have made a very tasty snack. Before human occupation, the predominant vegetation on Montjuic was dry Mediterranean meadows on the sunny side, and on the shadier side were home oak groves. Human activity has been modifying and transforming these landscapes to the detriment of the native vegetation and fauna. The first transformation was thought to be farming. Urbanization then followed, and then in the 19th century there was the creation of a brand new neighbourhood at the base of Montjuic called Pobolsec. Between the 1930s and the 1990s, there were amusement parks that were built on the side of the mountain. The creation of these parks and gardens and amusement parks really created an atmosphere for tourism. The highest part of the mountain is dominated by native plant species such as Mediterranean pine and the home oak. These landscaped gardens and the naturalized woods create a habitat for urban wildlife, mainly birds. In fact, the diversity of birds that inhabit the mountain is comparable to that of a forest outside of the city. Below the canopy is a completely different story. Because of the nature of this reimagining of the mountain with all of this hard landscaping, the mountains become isolated, and so you can find species of reptiles, common lizards for example. However, other species are lacking. Unbeknownst to me as I was snooping around, there's actually even an Olympic stadium here. And when I called my baby brother, apparently this is a football stadium by some famous team or something. Well, you know me guys, I had no clue. It is of course the home of Barcelona FC, which is another reason why there are so many visitors to the mountain. Believe it or not, this isn't even the top of the mountain. To get to the top, you need to take a cable car. The views from the cable car are absolutely stunning. The trip up also offers a little bit more insight into the layout of the city, but also the brand new landscape of the mountain. You can see why this would be a paradise for nesting birds. This is one of Barcelona's largest urban parks, and it's also free. Oh, not me thinking it's over. No, look, so we're going around and then we're going right back up. The very last stop of the cable car takes us right to the very top of Montjuic mountain, and here you find Montjuic Castle. The castle is 173 meters above sea level, and it's thought that it dates back to 1640. The castle is ideal because on top you get 360-degree views of the entire region. Okay, so we finally made it to the top, and this is exactly why I'm here. Behind me you can see just how vast the city has become. But interestingly, it's not just a flat level city. You'll see that although I'm on the mountain, right behind is another set of mountain ranges, and so that creates a very unique ecosystem and microclimate for the city. But what the city has also done is, as it's expanded, it's stopped the green space between these two areas, and so part of the 2030 green space plan for Barcelona is all about creating more green pockets, in essence wildlife corridors, so that animals can get from one space to another. Right now I'm standing on Montjuic at the castle, and there are hardly any mammals here on the mountain, and that is essentially because of the lack of connecting green space here. They did have hedgehogs here, but they became extinct, and they created a brand new program to reintroduce hedgehogs here. And of course there are also cliffs, which are either of natural origin or the result of stone quarrying. The rocky slopes are home to native and non-native plant species, and there are around 60 species of vertebrate animals and a large number of invertebrates who also live along the cliffs. Over the years, the port has expanded, which has also impacted the cliff face. At one point in time, the mountain was a serene oasis for wildlife. Now it's a very different picture, surrounded on all sides by human activity. There are about 20 different sets of gardens all the way down the mountain, but you can see there are roads, there are all these different pavements all the way down the mountain. So you can see how that could affect biodiversity on the mountain. But at the same time, this is, I think, probably the most visited attraction here in Barcelona. So this level of tourism, and in fact, look, buses and everything. So when you have this level of urbanization, it really does affect the biodiversity. And if you've been seeing the news, you'll see that Spanish people and quite a few European countries are really against tourism at the moment, and it's because of this. It's the expansion of urbanization, it's the expansion of tourism that directly impacts the environment and the prices, the house prices for the local residents. Barcelona is a coastal city, but its geography almost hems it in. The immense mountainous geography stops any form of urban sprawl, and so the Barcelona government has to find a way to make green spaces if it wants to achieve its sustainability goals, but also create green spaces for its residents. Combine these impressive green spaces with a beach, a vibrant nightlife, culture, it creates a tourist hotspot. This attracts investors and people snap up apartments, leaving local residents with nowhere to live, and an economy catered towards the tourist. To get down from the mountain, you can take the Montjuic funicular. It takes you down to the metro station in 2 minutes. But boy, when I got off the train, was I in for a surprise. When it rains here, it rains, and it's because of those mountains. The rain can't get over the mountains, so when it does rain, it just stays above the city and it floods. The irony of me coming to visit this city because of the drought, and we had 3 or 4 days of full-on rain. Now, in the next episode, I'm going to be taking a look at the links between community gardening and the local government. So hopefully I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye!